So thank you everyone for coming, participating. I know it's been a while since we held one of these calls, and we definitely need to start doing them more often. It's been a exciting start. And if you, Tato, have anything you want to say to kick things off about
No,
how you...
I think we definitely need to do this more often. I think we've been really busy building what we are releasing now, and what we started to release a couple of weeks ago. But I think it's important to keep communication channels open. We're doing a lot through Telegram, Discord, but I think it's important to hear directly from the team working on the solution. So yeah, now that we started releasing all these features, then I think it's going to be important to stay in touch, and hopefully everyone had a great start of the year.
Absolutely, yeah. So to kick things off, could you just give us a summary of what's Sukuthis, what is Web3 Connect Wallet, and what's the bigger picture beyond just minting tweets?
Yeah, I mean, so when we started Suku, always the goal was to bring adoption into blockchain, and how do we create systems for more transparency, and how we can actually transfer value across different participants, removing the intermediaries. We started that being a very B2B approach through supply chains, so very focused on enterprise. And through that process, we realized and identified the challenges on bringing big companies to adopt blockchain technologies. So what we did now is to upgrade those systems to be able to now focusing more on the B2C. One way of bringing adoption into the space is if you focus on a big brand or a big company, you release the system, and then that company brings a lot of users, their clients, their suppliers, their vendors. That's one approach. What we identify is that some of those companies are interested in the system, they're not interested in becoming part of the governance of the system, which is an issue that the entire crypto is facing today. So the other approach is how you go straight to the users, and that's the focus on now, how we go from B2B now to B2C. And the focus has been always on onboarding, like how do we bring adoption to all those users. And we started building the solution a few months ago, where through Sukuthis, hopefully we can show a better way to onboard a user. Sukuthis is just one very small use case. And that small use case is basically, I tweet something, I don't need to download anything. I just tweet something and something happens. That something happens is basically a tweet being minted as an NFT. For people that didn't try it, you should try it to see the magic of that. It's very simple, but very eye-opening in a sense that just with one tweet, no integration, you are using a native tool that everyone uses today, such as Twitter. You can mint an NFT, that NFT goes on OpenSea, and that NFT is now owned by the same user that tweeted it. If you want to be able to see the NFT, then you download the extension, and now you can see the NFT. If you want to sell it, you go to OpenSea, connect the extension, and now you sell it. That is just one use case. And behind that, the biggest thing that we produce, which is our secret sauce, is how you transform a social wallet on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, LinkedIn, whatever social media is, into a Web3 wallet in the easiest, fastest way possible. The biggest problem that we face today in the industry is that non-crypto native users still have a tough time in onboarding and using the platforms. And I think everyone is trying to create a new Web3 platforms that will compete with Web 2. So I don't know, maybe I want to create the Web 3 of YouTube or the Web 3 of Spotify. And then they all spend a lot of marketing dollars trying to convince someone to go from Web 2 and Web 3. The reality is that people don't want Web 3 Uber. They want to explore the benefits of Web 3 without a lot of challenges, without a lot of complexities and noise. So if you start from the fact that we created, I think, one of the simplest ways to set up a wallet for someone in one step, no seed phrases, no crazy steps. The use cases that can come from that are endless. And what we are doing now is we started to release some of those use cases, and hopefully, while exploring the Sukuthis, you can see the potential of what we can do. We can go through a couple of those during this call. As always, we don't share things that are not ready yet. We always talk about the things that we already pushed. So we can talk a lot about Sukuthis and discuss a couple of things that could trigger from there. But hopefully through this, you can see the potential of what we have built here. And then the wallet, or we call it Web3 Connect, is what actually captures all those use cases, right? How you actually integrate with different social media, and you spend the time. So we all spend a lot of our time in social media channels, right? Instead of bringing the user to a new platform, how do you capture, how do you convert a Web2 user into a Web3 in one step? And the extension is part of that. It's how you interact with that native platform, right? So not going into a lot of the visioning and future, but hopefully while using the technology, there's probably around 30 different use cases that you can come up with the technology that we created, only showing you Sukuthis.
Great. Yeah. Well, that keeping in mind that we can't give forward-looking statements or really get into what hasn't been announced. Yeah, I don't know how much more you can share than that for what our vision is for 2023 and where we see things going.
Our vision is to become one of the biggest players in social media onboarding for users. So we have few metrics for this year around the number of users that we want to onboard on Web2 and the type of use cases that they're going to be, the features that they're going to be using. So really focusing on onboarding. How do we solve one of the biggest issues that the industry has, which is adoption, which is onboarding? How do you go from 0 to 1 in one step in a very easy way? And through that, you're going to see us releasing a number of use cases that use the same technology, that in the front end is different, but is always using the same protocol in the background.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm skipping some questions here just because I think you've covered so much already. So I might just jump into some of the community questions now. To start with, from forgive me if I'm butchering your name here, but this is from Iqbal, IQBAL. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. But one of his questions is the wallet and Sukuthis only focused on the OpenSea market?
Yeah, right now the integration with Sukuthis is on OpenSea. It's the one that a lot of people recognize, and it's just an example. We are exploring other ways to do it with other marketplaces that might be interested in doing it. And let me give you just a hint of what we can do. But with Sukuthis, you are minting your own tweet. What if you can actually distribute in the same way you are minting your NFT? What if you can actually distribute NFTs to all your followers? Like, what happens today in the market is like, I'm gonna tweet something, and if you want to be on my allow list, then drop your ENS here, and I'm gonna be able to send you something, right? And so what happens there is that there's like multiple steps in order to go from, hey, I tweet something, and then I want to be able to talk to my followers. What if through the same technology that we did, you can actually distribute them, the NFTs, right there, right? What if you can actually create a campaign where whoever likes this tweet or whoever tweets this, then you get the NFT, and you don't need to jump and you need to go through any steps. You get it right there on Twitter. And that now might be an integration with OpenSea, but another marketplace might come in and say, hey, I want to be able to convert a lot of users. And so every time that I tweet something, I want to give them an NFT, but that NFT needs to be on my marketplace. And so the integration is quite simple for those cases. So we started with OpenSea, but now opening up to others based on those partnerships to acquire users and use other use cases that we're building.
Yeah, it's funny that, as we were developing this, I didn't really see anybody else sort of immediately requesting or looking for these tools. And now just the timing somehow is perfect. Now I'm on Twitter all day and I see so many different NFT communities, NFT projects looking for these type of resources. So I think the timing is perfect, and I think what we're doing is definitely special and unique. One more from I'll just go with the last name, Yanmar. He's asking, why are the wallet functions fairly minimal at this moment? Do we have what's our plan for expanding functions? What's the outlook on that?
There's probably 3 to 4 different products that are being built. A couple of those are almost ready. And the way we started this is by really launching something small. We started with our community, then we expanded it. We're looking for bugs, but mostly we're looking for feedback from users and understanding what's the potential for what we build. And then once we cover the first use case, which is Sukuthis, then we're going to be releasing the next one and see how people interact and learn from that. So we could have just done like the entire thing at once, but we wouldn't have learned a lot from that process. So we prefer to go feature by feature, and then learn from that and be able to grow from that feedback. It's something new that doesn't exist in the market, so we always value being able to ship very fast and then getting that feedback to iterate then and incorporate it into the next round. So again, the team is quite busy building this next set of use cases with the technology, and super excited for what we can do. And another hint, imagine if I not only can actually send NFTs to my follower, if I'm a brand or if I'm a user, that I can reward them with NFTs. Imagine if you can actually do that with tokens, or imagine if I can actually send a token from @TatoLabchick on Twitter to Tom on Twitter, or TatoLabchick to Instagram, with no one in the middle. So you can see how easily this goes to something truly interesting, and how we actually can transfer value and how we change how people interact and create engagement channels directly with their users natively on social media channels, not through another platform that competes with them, but something that converts at a very low cost compared to other tools in the market.
Yeah, there's really nothing quite like this at this moment, and I know the use cases are extraordinary. I know even before we launched, one guy reached out to us via Discord asking about his charity organization and how they could possibly be able to distribute cash to people that need it, or crypto to the people that need it. And there's nothing with that potential right now to be able to do that. So yeah, it's really exciting.
The charity use case is a great one. Again, uses the same technology. You can actually send crypto and NFT straight to their Twitter account without going through other mechanisms, and that is a solution that we have, that we didn't launch it yet, but we have it. So yeah, it's endless use cases and possibilities, and the value of releasing things step by step is getting the community to give us also ideas on how to use the technology. We came up with probably 20 different ideas and use cases, and there's probably a lot more. And then the goal is to open it up for people to build on top and use the protocol to build other use cases that we're not gonna come up with.
Very cool. Yeah. So I don't want to veer too off topic, but there's a few questions regarding other things within our ecosystem, and a few that I think are pretty good topics from Mike, aka M, which we all know, or many of us know, and he's asking, how will the tokens allocated to InfiniteWorld be used by InfiniteWorld?
Yeah. So with InfiniteWorld, the idea was always to use the token as a fuel, as an enabler inside the ecosystem. So they're building marketplaces, they're building games, they're building other Web3 tools, and also metaverse experiences. Again, important to identify that we're two separate teams. As you might know, many of us were working at InfiniteWorld. We're not working there anymore. So now we are partners. And the goal is to use the token as a utility to bring users and bring adoption through the systems that they create. So it might take different flavors depending on the system that they have. As always, the first goal is to have the systems up and running. So then you can push for utility to drive the adoption, to drive ecosystem dynamics. So that's the goal with them. Like through the different verticals that they have, the token is a key component of all those, as many of those are Web3 tools, and they need a token to serve as a way to communicate and interact between the system and the user, and between users.
Great. There's one more from M, and I didn't originally include it, but I think it's a good. It's something good to go over. So he was asking, with so much scandal rocking the Web3 world in 2022, with of course FTX, everything else, how do you maintain confidence in what you're building and maintain the confidence in the future of Web3?
Yeah, we've been here for a while. Definitely a very tough year for everyone, mostly because everyone really I trust a lot in the vision, right? And why I came to the space a few years ago, and mainly is to push for decentralization. And when you see things like this happening, it's like it takes the industry back a few years, but it's like the disappointment of someone following someone that you thought you could trust, or someone identified as someone that was with us fighting for decentralization. It's just another scam. So definitely difficult because the industry suffered a lot, suffer from institutionals not trusting the industry anymore, or suffer from liquidity. Like through different venues. But if there's one thing that this created is more opportunity for the ones that are building, and we think that there's probably not a better time than today, with all the noise, with all these scams happening, to build something unique. Because the vision didn't change. Where we going never changed. Bitcoin is still Bitcoin, and the different parts of the ecosystem that we are creating didn't change. We just reduced the amount of players that were just noise and bad for it. So we couldn't be more excited for what we're building. I think we came up with something very smart, and we're fighting like we always did, and much more, because the opportunity is much bigger today than probably it was a few years ago, when there were a lot of people creating that noise. So super excited for what's coming.
100%, yeah. Okay, moving forward. This is there's a bunch of questions here from Michael, aka Michael Corleone, from Telegram here. I will try and pick the best of these. I think some of these kind of cover each other. Starting out, does the development of our current tools and vision, is it based on trendy topics, or is there a vision and development that is set with core principles?
Yeah, definitely not on trending topics. All followed by the vision of and the goal of onboarding users into crypto. Again, starting from B2B, now going to B2C. The market evolves, right? There's multiple ways on how you capture a user, how you bring decentralization, and how you remove intermediaries. So sometimes it's important to have an eye on those kind of systems, but really the vision never changes. If there's a deviation, it's because we see the value of connecting it to the current set of tools that we created, but that's all. It might sound trendy because we're always trying to push for what we believe is the best way to capture the users, and to bring them the value that they need from a system perspective. But it never changes in a way of the vision that we have. Yeah.
And, to add some context, I think from Michael's point of view, and with a lot of his questions involve his past interest in Omni and some of the old tools we were offering, or services we were offering. And so I don't know if there's too much more. I think we've been down that road, but I don't know if there's too much more, if there's anything you want to say about.
No, for a detailed overview of that, I think we released, when we pushed the new website, I think we have a lengthy Medium article that describes how going from B2B to B2C makes a lot of sense, how you go from capturing the companies. And I started going through that when we started this session. I think it's worthwhile for you to read on that. But again, we've been building for the last 5 years some hypotheses on how we can actually bring users that worked 5 years ago are proven after a couple of years. So if you say, hey, we've been building these systems with X number of companies, but the companies really don't want to have nodes operating there. So that changes a little. You need to be able to upgrade that into something that actually works. If you're static, then you're going to have the vision, an old vision or an old system that doesn't apply anymore. An industry that evolves so quickly and the interests change so quickly. So that's part of the deal.
Yeah. And for anyone that hasn't, I encourage you to read that read that article from, I believe, June, which really goes into detail about our transition and a bit about our vision. A few more from him, and this will touch on.
Sorry, Tom. I don't know, Ale or the rest that are on the team. If you can find that article and post it here, that'll be awesome.
Yes,
cool.
Please do. Another one from him, and this is in regards to the Suku token. Is Suku's vision to ever be a crypto with a high value associated with the dollar amount, or is the token not actually a necessity for the business and future growth?
The first question, obviously, I'm not going to be able to respond. There's nothing that I can talk about price or speculation or value. Like, that's not what we do, and you can already see that from a number of years that we've been here. And the second one, the utility of the token is pushed through the number of tools that we release. And there's the optionality with the goal of increasing number of users or increasing number of tech developers or technology that gets built on top. That's always been the core. That's always the case. We're gonna augment is the optionality, the options that you have in order to use that token through those different tools and channels with always the same goal.
Great. I missed one from Tig from Discord. So let me just jump back to that. Is Suku competing with other projects building a crypto layer on social media platforms like Mask? And if so, are you going to have P2P DEX, a P2P DEX, a peer-to-peer DEX on Twitter?
Yeah. We definitely compete with others, but I would try to test others and look at the experience. I don't think nobody can actually mint NFTs, but it's just one simple use case. But try to start using those protocols and count the number of steps that you need to go through. For example, if you go to Instagram today and you want to create an NFT, mint an NFT of your photo, right? The first thing that you need to do, what they ask you is connect your wallet. Like, select the wallet that you want to connect to start using it. Now, you just lost all the potential non-crypto native users that could have used that. That's the audience for that message is the same crypto people that we've been working on this for a while. How do you bring the one that actually doesn't know how to do it? And you can do it with Sukuthis. We don't have it on Instagram yet, but with Sukuthis, you can have just a picture, you tag Sukuthis, done. There's an NFT, the NFT is on OpenSea, and the NFT is on your wallet associated with your Instagram account. Other protocols use the peer-to-peer payments and transfers, but they all require some way of setup. So you need to go through a setup. Maybe you need to get a seed phrase. Probably you need to connect with something else. That's the key. If you understand the huge difference that we have by not going through any setup and doing everything natively, you'll see the huge advantage that we have. You can drop crypto to all your friends in one click. I don't think there's any tool in the market that can do that today without actually asking you to go and activate a wallet or set up this on another system. That is the biggest difference, and we are very excited about the potential of the technology that we produce there.
Great. Last one from Michael. I'll jump back to. What is the success criteria for Suku?
I think it's metrics around users for us. Users that are using the systems, users that we are converting into Web3 users that are able to transfer value through the tools. I think that's the biggest metric. And once they start using it, obviously there's a customer, in this case, customer user satisfaction that we have in mind as we start pushing all this. So we are really paying attention to, with Sukuthis, and again, very small use case, but we're getting a lot of data for us to be able to adapt the system based on the users' feedback. So, but biggest metric for us is how many users we can actually bring.
One more on that, a follow-up from him. How much of Suku's success will be based on everyday consumers versus B2B corporate clients?
Mostly, again, the focus right now is on day-to-day consumers. The approach was on big clients and big corporations. For Suku, it's mostly day-to-day consumers, which we decided to cut those dependencies with the bigger companies and go straight to the users with these new tools.
Excellent. Okay, that's about it. There's one last one, and from Christopher, and he's just asking. It's on the token again, so I don't think we can say much. But will some of the tools you are creating use the Suku token?
Yeah, they will. So the tools that are being released, the goal first is to get get people to use it. The token is being pushed as a way to bring more adoption, to create the right mechanics inside the tools. But that's the plan, right? And I'm not saying this one will have this. We do it when we have it ready, and we announce it when we have it. So we don't create any false expectations on the things that might not happen. So that's a goal.
All right. Well, that's the end of the community questions. Do you have anything to follow up with, or any closing thoughts before?
No, I think it's a very exciting year for us. You're going to be hearing a lot from this team. I think one thing that we ask the community is to be more involved, play with the tools that we're going to be releasing. We need your feedback. Like, you guys are the first ones that need to tell us, this sucks, this is great, I would be using this in this way. We're creating something new. Like, we don't, the tools that we are creating, we don't see them in the market. So we really need a lot of feedback, and it needs to come from the community first. And that's our goal. So we really want you guys to be more involved and give us feedback. We really need the feedback to see if we are through the right path. So that's all. Very exciting. You're gonna be seeing a lot of different releases, and hopefully you like what we're doing, and pushing you also to come up with different use cases. And I think we can come up with something like that. Like, use cases, I don't know, a campaign with people will drive use cases, ideas into how to use the technology that we created. And you can even start building some of those with us. So pretty exciting year for us.
Absolutely. So I just thought maybe we'd improvise a bit on that note of getting the community to start testing the tools. If anyone's listening now, if you want to go on Twitter and create your first NF tweet, or if you've already used it, create a new NF tweet and then share it in here. We'll buy your first NFT for 10 Matic. How does that sound?
I love it. Is it a new NF tweet? I like it. NF tweet.
NF tweet, yeah. It's a little confusing, but it's catchy. And also beyond that, if any of you want to participate, we're currently running the Tech Start contest, and it's really fun, super easy. Aleo shared some links of ways you can easily generate a Tech Start piece and then add your own touch on it. post it on Twitter with by tagging at Sukuthis, mint it into a tweet, NF tweet, and then we will be picking winners in a couple weeks. So, yeah, thank you guys very much. Send your NF tweets into the channel here. We'll buy them from the people listening, and we will see you guys soon. I think we'll do this again. We should start doing this more regularly.
Yeah, we need more people, absolutely. All right, thank you, Tom, for setting it up. Thank you guys for submitting the questions.
Thank you so much.